Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to my show. This is your host, Brandy J. Today, I have with me here the lovely Anna Lennyr. She is a life strategist. Right, Anna? But she's here to help us today. She's come to enlighten us, educate us, and teach us some very valuable tips how to live a better life. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Brandy, for inviting me. Yes,
No
as a life
problem.
strategist, this is what I do. But about 20 something years ago, I was a suicidal girl. So that's where I came from, right? So I joke today when I say I paved my own road from suicidal to life strategist.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you have the experience and everything, so you know exactly
What
what
works and what doesn't work.
yes, right? So can you tell the listeners like what was it? What point, like after having going through all that, at what point did you decide this was your path and this is what was needed to do?
So I was depressed for 27 years of my life. I lost my mom to depression and alcoholism, and at the age of 38, I was a wreck. I mean, I was not. My son was carrying me from the couch to the bathroom because I could barely walk. I was obese, 234 pounds. I had pre-diabetes, pre-NASH, non-alcoholic liver hepatitis, all kind of stuff. And it's when I took control of my life and I said, this has to change, and I found the mentors to help me change my life in 7 months. And after that, I thought that I'm the only one that, I caught the last train and everybody else was happy on the planet except me, right? And I was happy to be in place with the happy people, right? And then I realized that, whoa, 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 there are kind of a few millions that are left behind. So this is when I realized that now that I know what works and what doesn't work, because I studied psychology over 20 years ago and that didn't work. Now that I know what works and what doesn't work, I can help others. So yeah, that was my journey.
That's awesome. I love that you said that there's a million people that like it wasn't just you needed to help others. That's awesome. Okay, so with that being said, as a life strategist, what is the first thing that you saw that you tackled first, that you saw in the mission, like, okay, this is what needs to be handled first?
The first thing that needs to be handled is how you address relationships with others and relationships with yourself. If you do not master relationships, you have emotional imbalance. You go on a roller coasters up and down for your entire life. One simple person that leaves you can put you in depression, like automatic, boom, okay, and you don't even know how to get out of it, and you're just like quitting on your life and on finding love and on believing that love exists, right? So you end up down in the ditches of depression where you can't get out. And also, without mastering relationships, you don't have a great relationship with yourself. You put yourself down, you sabotage yourself, you are your worst enemy, practically.
Yeah, I truly believe that we are our worst enemy, and we blame everybody else, right? No, you. I'm like, no, you got to start with self. Yes. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So how would one person, like, what life doesn't come with like a manual, then our parents, the generational thing, they do the best they can. We take that and we try to, you know, either some people stick with it or some people learn that probably wasn't the way. How does one know, like, when is that point when you're like, I need a, like someone like you, like, how does somebody like know that if those are the things, unless somebody like is like you're there to tell them, but how would they even hear it or know it?
Yeah. So we have two branches in our company. One of them is overcoming depression, but the other one is preventing all this crap. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So in the preventing the crap, okay, we are working a lot with parents, with teenagers. Okay. Why? The parents don't know how to master relationships themselves, and they don't know how to teach that to their teenagers. Everybody believes that the teenagers just going to figure out, oh, we're just going to find love, everything is going to be
Mhm.
fine. They find narcissists, verbally abusive, divorces, okay? And poor kids, at a young age, they seclude themselves from the world, right? They isolate themselves, and then they end up in depression and so forth, right? So this is why it's very important not to wait until like I was, right? Almost dying at the age of 38 with two divorces, in with ditches of everything you can imagine, right? Not wait until that point, because it takes 3.5 hours to master relationships. Okay. There is a course of 3.5 hours to master relationships. I mean, you don't have 3.5 hours of your time to strategize your life in relationship with yourself and others, but you have 2 years to go and sit in the divorce court. I mean, come on, let's face it, right? So we, how should I say, we think that love life and relationship is very complicated. It's actually absolutely extremely simple. The first thing we teach is the misconceptions that everybody comes with from the society, from parents, for all the crap, right? The second thing we teach is what means to be healthy relationships. There are only two relationships that work, two types, and there are four types that do not work. If you are waking up to see one type that does not work, you're not going to find the ones that work. You're actually going to find the other three that do not work. It's psychologically proven, right? So you just get more and more and more trapped, right? Especially if you see something that doesn't work. So that's the second thing we teach. And the third thing we teach in relationship is there are only four types of men and four types of women in the world. And it's amazing for people to like, oh, I'm not unique. No, you're not. Okay. Sorry, I'm not. Okay. I'm one of the four types of women. Okay. Now, depending on each archetype, so we call them values, way of thinking, okay, priorities in life, you're going to understand that people are not here to hurt you. People are here to pursue their own goals and values that might not match with you, because you might be a different archetype, right? So only this sets up the stage for understanding that you are here to learn in this world from others. You're not here to be hurt by others. And if you get this right, this is the most amazing thing that stops people from entering depression. Because everybody in depression believes that everybody else comes to hurt them in a way or another, right? So they all come towards them to hurt them. And once you understand that, no, they had different priorities. You might have not matched on the archetype level because you didn't know these secrets, right? We call them true love secrets. So, little things like that. Don't wait until you're divorced and you can't find your soulmate anymore and things like that. If you do, we do have a program called Healing from Heartbreak. We do that too, okay? But don't wait until that stage. Like I had a client who came to me and said he was very young, and he said, I went to 1,000 dates. Like 1,000 dates. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for my girl. I went to 1,000 dates and I cannot find the girl. What is wrong with me? I'm like, there is nothing wrong with you, except that you don't know who you are and who you're looking for. Take this course, 3.5 hours. Oh, I got it. After 8 dates, I found my fiance. I'm like, good, perfect, right? So you, at some point when you fail, you believe that there is something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And it goes down the drain, everything, right? It's just goes totally down, right? Yeah. If you understand, that this is your type and this is who you're looking for, right? And that's it. And then you know how to manage who you're looking for and what you're looking for in a man or a woman. And that's it. It's game over. So this is the most enlightening thing, that the first thing that I received as training to overcome depression. I did not know that it's possible to strategize your own love life, your own relationship life with your parents, your children, your co-workers, just by understanding these four men and women archetypes, right? So this is just like the most enlightened moment of my life, I can tell you, right? So don't wait, guys, until you're down in the ditches, okay? It takes 3.5 hours of your time to fix this.
I agree. I feel like you should be proactive. Like if you've been there before, then you don't wait for it to come. You're like, what can I do about it now so I don't get in that? That's what I think. So exactly. Makes sense. And I guess so that will just work out, right? Like when you've mastered that, like you said, you can maneuver that. You can do better as a parent with your child, everyone you come in contact with, like you said, at work, wherever you come, because you have that understanding, right?
Exactly. And you
and
don't
what
believe
you
that,
want.
the boss is here to hurt you. The boss is under his own stress, his own problems. Okay. That might be from home, that might be from his own boss. Right. So here it's how you can easily diffuse the situation. You don't believe that somebody is here to hurt you. This is it. This is game over. You can be more productive instead of freaked out that, oh my God, he's going to fire me because I made a mistake. You can apologize. Very simple.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you just, you understand, I'm sorry, we just we're on, on the two different levels. Now I got you. Thank you, sir. Okay. Little things like that makes a whole lot of difference, because all this stress, Brandy, with all due respect, it it hurts you physically at some point, right? So the emotional wounding that I had from childhood, from my experience since I was young, from the fact that I was suicidal at 19, all this put a lot of pressure on me. I had headaches, migraines, fibromyalgia, all kind of illnesses that there is no reason for a 38-year-old to be in so much stress and pain, right? As soon as that stress was let go, that I understood things about myself, others, right? I was able to do, emotional healing. I climbed a mountain in Capri in a few months after that, by myself in high heels.
Wow, that's
Okay.
a lot.
I mean, exactly. So today, if you look at me, is like, you don't believe that I'm 40 plus. If you look at me at the age of 38, you would have bet that I'm 50. Right. So I just like, things like that the stress puts so much on you on at different levels that it kneels you. It absolutely kneels you in life, right? So what you want to do is don't put stress on you. You master relationship, there is no emotional stress. And that's it. It's game over.
Wow. This is some good stuff. Before we go further, I want to make sure that I get this out here, just in case I know you do somewhere. You have some books that you can tell us about, because I'm going to go get them. But you can let the audience know too, because I want to get them. But I know you got
I
a book
haven't.
on
I don't have time to write books. Okay, there are too
this.
many people in depression. Okay, and I said when I'm going to write the book, I'm going to write it with 1,000 stories minimum, if not 2,000. Just because, Brandy, a lot of people have excuses, right? So you will have an excuse of, oh, I don't have 3.5 hours to learn about relationships. No, you have years to be heartbroken. Okay, right. So it's
Mhm.
a lot of excuses that people come with. So I want to put on as diversified stories as possible, to give them choices, not excuses. Everybody has excuses, but when you have choices, when you see that somebody just like you did it, right? A suicidal girl from Romania, because that's where I'm from originally. I talk on stage with millionaires like Jesse Cole and Julian Michaels and JT Fox, just last December, right? So here is where you were and where you can be. And this is all in every one of your audience potential, in every single one of us. But all this pain keeps us strapped to finding who we truly are. Why are we here on earth to do, right? My mentors, when I got out of depression, they said, you're the best person to do this. I'm like, who, me? I don't know how
Mhm.
to run away from people depressed. I'm like, no, you are the best person to do this because you went through all stages.
Yeah.
And now you know what works and what doesn't. We just give it a shot, okay? We just, four of us, we just hit with everything to try to get you out. Okay, we succeeded, but we did not have a specific strategy, okay? Because we were not depressed in our lifetime. We did not know all of this that you've been through, right? But now you do. So now you can develop your own strategy. Now you can reverse engineer to save kids from killing themselves. With all due respect, every 40 seconds somebody dies on this planet by suicide.
Mhm.
They don't die because they're happy. Okay, they die because they don't understand the relationship with themselves and with others, and this brings a lot of emotional pain. They feel constrained, and at some point they lose it, like I did, right? So this is why mastering relationships is like mastering the entire game of life. I'm not joking, right? Because you can't live on a island abandoned by yourself. This COVID thing showed us how more depressed you are when you're isolated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. You just said everything so powerful. Right before you spoke about the suicide thing in my head, because I advocate strongly for bullying and the whole suit. Like you're right, and it's spiking higher within the young community. And I was applying what you were saying, thinking about that. With that, that's what we need to teach kids so they can understand themselves better and how to deal and understand others better. And it just all just makes sense. So you would you say that this here for someone, say for someone that is not dealing but helping people and helping parents and families understand what children are get up against and learn how to have better relationships, would this be something they can take and apply also too within that type of setting?
Yes, yes, it's very important because you see, the bully and the bullied are two different hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
they're different. Okay, one needs to prey on the energy of others to survive. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because he suffered from some kind of abandonment, some kind of anger, right? The other one gets withdrawn and gets humiliated and embarrassed, right? So it looks like a lower energy when the other one is the most powerful one, right? So if you understand that they're both hurt people, right? Now, how do you raise the self-esteem of a child being bullied? How do you diminish the anger of a child that is a bully? Okay, this all comes in relationship with your family. This all comes. I don't get teenagers out of these situations. I teach parents how to do it themselves. Okay, why? Because that's the parent who spends most time with a child, not a therapist, not a teacher, not somebody else off a street, right? So here is, do you understand your teenager? And most parents said no, is here to annoy me. So she's here to annoy me. Give me more anxiety. Okay.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Exactly. Oh man. I wish somebody would have told me, right?
Like, what did I do?
Exactly. I wish somebody would have told me. But this is the truth. Okay. That if you understand your teenager, okay, and I have a 14-and-a-half-year-old who slipped in depression when he was like 8 and a half. So now he's good, right? If you understand your teenager, it is game over, right? Because everything they don't do right, the way you consider right, correct as a parent, it's a cry for help. There is something they don't know. There is something they need. Okay. So at each level, we call it 4 stations, right? 4 elemental stations. At each level of the fourth ones, they cry for help in a different way. The first elemental station is the water station, where they're withdrawn and shy. And they don't cry because they want to be invisible. They cry because they do not want to be invisible, but they don't know how to raise their self esteem, right? Second station, we call it a fire station, is where anxiety happens if they're afraid to move forward in life, or somebody has anxiety in the family, or anger happens because they don't know how to get the skills to move forward in life. And it's when we teach them these skills, all right? Relationship skills, emotional skills, mindset skills, okay? So they can be confident of, oh, now I can move over to the third station. We call it the air station. Action, doing, making mistakes, okay? Minor mistakes, okay? Because my kid almost knocked out the neighbor's fence last night when he was driving. I was like, stop! It's like, what, are you screaming at me? Yes, I was screaming at you. It's like, you destroyed the fence. Stop! You get in the car fence. It's like, no, I'm good.
Not that mistake.
Exactly. You were
That's gonna
screaming.
cost me.
Yes, I was screaming because I just told you stop 2 times and you did it at some point. You actually just touched the fence. I was like, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What's a fence next to a car? It's like, let's run. So
Oh
little
man.
things like this, when it's doing, yes, making some mistakes, okay, but doing action, being independent, not under mommy's, skirt,
Yeah.
right? And here, a lot of parents have a lot of trouble leaving their teenagers mature. Okay, a lot of them are still, because, for example, It happened to me. I was a single mom, right? And it's like it was that guilt that, oh, poor him, he doesn't have a father, right? And at some point it's like, no, hold on a second. That's actually, good and bad in different direction, but he needs to learn this by himself. So he needs to decide later on in life who he wants to be, right? So I keep him down. I keep him grounded in a different place where as a child instead of him being a young adult and turning as an adult, right? So I'm holding him down. So here is when you have to give your child freedom, right? And the last stage is, we call it the earth stage. And that's when they get responsible, okay, for their own feelings, not necessarily their own actions. It's very important that everybody gets responsible for how they feel. They analyze how they feel and they fix it, or they're looking for ways to fix it if they don't know how. Because otherwise, if they don't go through these four stations, and if they just go through from water to earth like a shortcut, it's 100% depression. If they stay into the water and fire element, that's addiction. That's alcoholism and addiction. Okay. And if they don't know how to play all this game with four stations the right way, they go a lot of times on video games and they get addicted to it because they don't know how to play the game of life. They know how to play a fake game. And it's easier to play a fake game than the real one. So this is why it's so, so important that the parents acknowledge this and help their own children. We help the parents help their own children to the different stations where they're at.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I was sitting here thinking too, like with myself too, like that makes a lot of sense. This is stuff that, and I appreciate you sharing this because this is perfect, and this is stuff like I need to know, that the listeners need to know, the audience, and like because we'll never, you just kind of just pass, down what parents taught you, and you just hold on. Some people just hold on to that, and I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to. They did the best they could. Now here we are. We're advanced. We have more knowledge. So yeah.
When I see people that said, oh, I'm going to just quit my job and stay home with kids, it's like, okay, call me in 6-7 years when your child gets depressed. Okay, so I know that's a recipe, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, some of the four elements of women, they can do this as homestay mom. There's actually one element that can do it only without being depressed and stuff like that. But most of them, they don't know how. They don't understand that the moment the child is born, you have to let the child go. It's not a pet. It's not a thing. It's not a possession. Right? So here is how emotionally balanced you are as a parent. This is exactly how emotionally balanced the child is going to be. Okay? If there is drama at a child, we had a 6-year-old in depression in December when I got off stage talking about suicides and depression with Julian Michaels and Jesse Cole and JT Fox, and they're all millionaires, and they don't like to hear the word suicide, trust me, on the stage, okay? Nevertheless, right? Somebody approached us. He was the uncle of a 6-year-old depressed who was talking about dying since the age of 4. Okay. So this is one of the reasons we move towards prevention of this, okay, because it's very, very important. So the child was confused about everything, okay? The mom was sacrificing her life, okay, to stay home with a child. And I said, you need to go to work. Well, I cannot. What am I doing with a child? And like, no. You need to go to work. You give your pain by mistake to your own child. Okay? We're going to fix the child. That's easy. We're going to fix you too. That's easy. But you need to learn how to let the child go. All right? So things like this, that you are trying your best, right? You're absolutely trying your best as a mother, as a family, right? To raise the child properly and stuff like that. More emotionally balanced you are, more you understand that child is not, it is a child that needs you, but there is a lot to learn from that kid too. It's your teacher as well as you are his or her teacher, right? If you understand this reciprocity, okay, this divergence, that they're here in your life, so you can learn from them and they can learn from you, and you don't take it as a authority, right? I'm in charge
Right.
only, right? Only one way street. If you understand this, it's very easy to help, to have a balanced child. You have a balanced child, man, they find their true potential and their identity by themselves. You have to do zero work. Zero work.
Just watch them
Okay?
flourish.
Exactly. Exactly. They do things that you've never gonna believe, right? But if they're not emotionally balanced, they end up with anxiety, with anger, withdrawn, being bullied, disobedient, disrespectful, because they don't believe you can help them. You see, it's like, why should I listen to you? You are not able to help me until now. You don't give me the tools I need. Why should I listen to you?
Right.
Right? So, or with video games, because they don't know how to play the game of life, a real game, and they play the fake one. It's easy.
Mhm.
It's easy to play a fake one, right? So, this is why it's so, so important that we understand we understand that pain is, how should I say, can be taken from one to another. It's easy to be given. It's harder to be healed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's easy to be given. And this is why, I tell parents is like, let them go. Let them make some mistakes. Let them figure it out things.
That's deep. That's deep. Because I mean, because you're a parent, and I'm one too. And I'm sitting here thinking like, I know how hard, but I know it has to be done. That's the thing too. But it's still not easy. But it's a selfless thing. You have to do it for their benefit. So I
If
could
a mother
see.
is codependent on her child, like this particular mother was, right? And the child will be codependent on others later on.
Mm,
So if you don't worry right now, it's like, oh, I want to keep my child close. Yes, but later on, they're going to be used and abused by somebody else.
yeah.
Would you really do that?
Yeah. And you're not gonna think like, oh, what's going on in their life. You're not gonna add it up and think like, wait, I did this from how I didn't, you know,
Exactly.
let them go. This is a very important message. Very important message, especially now too, with the social distancing. A lot of people are a lot less trusting, very shut off. Or there's some people that it just messed with people psychologically. The separation.
Yes, theoretically speaking, yes. Practically, they figured out that they're hurt.
Hmm.
Okay, so when you are not hurt, you're fine by yourself. You don't need people around you.
Yeah.
When you're hurt, a lot of times you expect others to, solve your problem. And this is like a fashion, like sending a kid to therapist or going yourself to therapy. What is that going to help you? It's just going to quack with somebody. Okay, no talking ever solved the problem. That's why it's the action station, right? And we teach people actionable steps. Do this, do that, do the other, right? That's why it's an action station out there, right? Because just complaining and crying, okay, one to another, it doesn't solve anything. So this is why, everybody said, oh, it's a lot of depression after COVID. Like, no, but COVID revealed the
Mm.
depression that already existed, and we denied it because we are, exactly like you said, we either blame others or we go quacking to others and we think some other people were going to solve our problems. You can, you are the only one who can solve your pain. So what I do, I guide people to do that. I don't take their pain away. I guide them how to do it themselves. Why do you want to do it yourself? Very simple. Because next time you don't want to be in pain anymore.
Exactly.
Next time when you're hitting the same wall, it's like, oh, but I know how to fix it. I already learned how to fix it. Let's just fix it and be done with it, right? So
Mhm.
here is how you're not slipping back in depression or going to therapy for 12 years and not solving anything. Here is how you know what to do. You do it. Next time it comes in, it's just a breeze.
Mm. Very, very good. Let me ask you. Okay, so you just said something that resonated with me. Two things. I forgot the other one that quick, but some good stuff too. So okay, so say for instance with Okay, no, there it goes. Like with therapy, because that's why I understand even more now why you're a strategist and not like I'm a therapist or I'm this, because you're about action. Because you can talk, you can hear, okay, now you process, what are we going to do? So would you say like that's kind of like what people do? I noticed like when going to the doctor or something, you go, you get it figured out, they tell you what you need or whatever they told you a lot of times, no, but they tell you and then from there on, okay, follow those instructions. And then you won't have to go back for that. But let alone a lot of people just, oh, it's happening again. And they go back so they can fix you again. And it's like, well, wouldn't it be better if you were proactive and then you even found more ways to, now that you know what's going on, to not have to go back? So that would mean like, let me take better care of my health in general. Would you say that kind of like the same thinking when we don't really
Yes,
apply those
yes.
things?
No, yeah, it's like you fix it once and you're done. You don't
Right.
have to fix it numbers and numbers of times. Every time when you leave your problems on somebody else's shoulder to fix it, with like a pill or with like a talk or with like whatever, it never gets done. Okay. You have to be the one who takes the initiative. You are the one responsible. I tell people, it's not the therapist, it's not the school, it's not the teacher responsible for your child.
Right.
You are. Okay. Now you're taking the responsibility by feeding them, housing them, and buying them stuff. Okay. Take the right responsibility of teaching them how to be emotionally balanced. That's it. That's all they need. Don't worry. They'll find ways to work and make their money. Okay. Their kids at 18 and 19 years old that are millionaires. Okay. So leave them with emotional balance and mastering relationship. This is the most important two things ever that they need. They don't need crap like video games to purchase them all the time. This is not what helps them. Okay. That's what keeps them in denial. So here is responsibility, not only for your actions, not only for your children, but specifically for the way you feel, right? Because it's very important, because you mentioned blame. There is blame, shame, and guilt. And this like 3D chaos cube, holds us down from everything, right? So because of this COVID thing, I was in the refrigerator with my nose for 2 years. Okay, like everybody else was, right? So I, so I gained some weight, right? And also a lot of weight that I already lost long time ago, I gained some back. I didn't gain it all, but I gained some back. And also, I was born with bad eyes since birth. I wear glasses, right? And just recently I said, okay, I need to stop doing this. Number one, I know I can lose weight. Okay, very simple. I did it before. It's only my fault. I stick my nose in the refrigerator. I should have put a sign on the refrigerator. You're not hungry, you're bored. Things like that. And the second thing, I need to take responsibility. Even if I was born with bad eyes, I need to take responsibility for my eyes. So what did I do? Just before I talked to you, I had an eye coach. I'm not joking. There is an eye coach. Okay. That is going to help me get over this problem that I have for over 40 years. It's possible. Everything is possible if you are taking the responsibility for yourself. If I'm waiting for glasses to pick my vision, glasses are not here to fix my vision. Glasses are here to be here all of the time, unlimited, never ending, right? So here I need to take responsibility for it. So once you take responsibility for it, you don't blame your birth from the fact that you have bad eyes. You don't blame COVID because you stayed in the refrigerator because you're the one eating. Okay. You don't do these kind of things. You take responsibility. That's it. That's game over.
Man, I love it. I love it. Love it. I love it. Like no excuses for like anything that's, because it's crippling. That's how you cripple yourself when you can blame it on something. You're like, that's why. Look at what you're going to do about it. That's amazing. I know we're coming down to the wire here. I know there's so much to cover, and I would love to have you back. And we have radio platforms and all kinds of things because there's people that need this, including myself. I wanted to, before we go, hit on this because I know I have a lot that listeners that are single moms or just single parents. As far as that, what would you say to them regarding? Because I'm starting to see this. I guess I'll call it a phenomenon because it's really growing stronger. Where women, I don't want to say we're being attacked but kind of shamed. I've noticed it within different like clubhouse and different places, shamed for being a single mother. And men are saying because the family's been broken. And in my head, I'm more reasonable. I'm more like understanding, empathetic. You don't know if she lost her husband. You don't know if he was abusive. You don't know like the situation at hand of why that person is single. And I just find it bothers me. And I don't want people to feel like that. So what would you say to that person that feels like they're failing because they are a single mom?
So I'm the third generation of single moms. I lost my mom to depression because she was a single mom. It was big time shame at that time, right? Um, but the challenge of single moms is not necessarily the shame part. Okay, I will tell you, because they are warriors and they're going through life like bulldozing, right? The problem with single moms is at some point the child needs to find their identity and they need a male figure. Okay. Now, my son personally doesn't have a male figure, has one of my mentors as a male figures, but here I'll give you a shortcut. Okay. Teach them relationships, which a single mom probably has a huge problems with. Okay. Because that's why she's single, right? I'm single because I don't have time. Most people, you're right. All right. I'm single with a husband next to me because I work nonstop. Okay. All right. The second thing, teach them emotional balance because otherwise they will revolt against you sooner or later and they will be conflicted between I love you, but I can't balance myself up and I don't know how. Right. And the third thing, find them mentors, okay, of the opposite sex, just to, how should I say, men mentors, okay, even if they're girls, right? Why? They need to find their identity. They need to find there is more out there than you offer at home. Because if you only know that this is what you offer at home only, they're going to feel restricted and they're going to want to snap out and they're going to end up disobedient and disrespectful, right? Because they want to snap out. It's like, this is not it. I don't want all of this. I want more, right? So show them more. And that's the formula.
Yeah, it's amazing. I like that you said that because me being one, my son, he goes out. He's leaving now actually to go to his boxing and mentors. He does every week. So I know how important that is because I don't want him to. I know that he has his dad in his life, but he's not here, and so he's going to need that. I just want him to find himself. I saw the insecurities in him, like not confident about stuff, and it bothered me. It bothered me that it hurt me. And it hurt me because I didn't tell him that, but I knew that I had to do something more because I didn't want him to go out in this world feeling insecure. And me thinking about it breaks my heart because, and I noticed I was a teacher for 9 years, and I could see that when some kids when they're just kind of like kind of shut in or like that, just that way, I knew something was going on there from the bullying and everything, and it just breaks me when I see somebody, especially a child, not knowing how amazing they are. And looking at everybody else, and I'm like, oh no, can't have that.
Yeah.
So definitely I understand.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you though. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm known for crying, but not this time. I'm not gonna cry. But it'll be a good cry. Good cry. But thank you so much. I think, and now that we know you don't have a book, but you will, and cheering you on for that because I'm gonna be the first one to get it.
You will.
Do you have any social media links or anything that you can leave the listeners if they want to follow you or get your help or anything?
Yeah, but so the main website is Lennyr, spelled ANALENNYR.com, but nobody knows how to spell my name. So we had a better website called Better Ask Anna, Anna with one N, ANA, betteraskAnna.com. And there we have free resources for somebody that is in depression. It's a course of 1 hour and 20 minutes, free. There is a course for parents who have their children in depression for free. There are workshops for healthy relationships and parenting teenagers, all for free. And we're also answering questions. It's going to take a couple of weeks. So if you have a question, instead of making a mistake in life and strategizing your life in the wrong way because everybody else tells you some kind of cookadoo things, right? There you can go to betteraskAnna.com, type your question, and we'll send you a small video or a small audio from me to tell you exactly what to do. and why you should do it and what's your next step. So no excuses, only choices.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. The action strategist. Yeah, I said it right this time. I thank you so much. Like, I know we gotta let you go because I'll just email you or anything if I have like like a question or something, because I can just sit here all day. Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much once again, and you're always welcome here. Just know that.
Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. And to everybody else, thank you for tuning in. And you know where to find her if you need her. Until next time.